Recursion. We can define our own functions according to our needs. In this lesson, we will discuss an important function called recursion. This technique is a replacement of the looping statements in certain situations. A recursive function means that a function calls on itself. Normally, the functions call on other functions. Instead of this, we can call a function to the same function. That is known as a recursive function. Recursion is difficult to understand, but in certain cases it offers a better solution than loops. So let's take a look at the example. Here in this example, in the top of the main function, we have declared a function called recursive with an integer parameter. Inside the main function, we declare an integer variable called I, which is initialized as 1. And then we call the recursive function with passing an argument called variable I. The passed value is received in x, which is an argument of recursive. Here we show the value of x, then it is incremented by 1. Then we test the condition whether x is less than or equal to 5. If the condition is satisfied, the recursive of x function calls again and takes a value 2, and then print it using the printf function. The same process will be continued until x is lesser than or equal to 5. To see the output, compile the code using Alt F9. When the compilation is finished, click on OK. Run the code using Control F9 and see the output. If you wish to learn more about the recursive function, write a C program to find a factorial number of a given number. Command line arguments. In this lesson, we will discuss a new concept called command line arguments. The arguments which we pass to the main function at the command prompt are called command line arguments. But the command line arguments can only be performed by operating systems like DOS, or the Unix or Linux, and passed inside to the program of the operating system. When the arguments are passed by the command line, they will be received by the main function. In fact, the main function can accept 2 arguments. The first argument is a total number of arguments, that is, argc, which stands for argument counter. The other argument is a full list of all the command line arguments, that is, argv, which represents argument vector. In order to access the command words, the main function must have a prototype like this. The names argc and argv are usually used for the parameters, but we can use any names. The command line arguments, that is, arguments that are passed in the command line, can be accessed as argv of 0 through argv of argc minus 1. The program name is the first word on the command line, which is argv of 0. The command line arguments are argv of 1 through argv of argc minus 1. If you find this difficult to understand, look at this sample program. In the main function, we have used 2 variables, argc, which is an integer type, and argv, which is a character array. Then inside the main function, we declared a variable called I, and it is initialized as 0 in the for loop. We generate the for loop until I is less than or equal to argc. Inside the for loop, we're displaying array elements, which will be entered in the command line. Here, I explain step by step how to run this program, so listen carefully. Compile the code using F9. Don't use Alt F9. Click the Start button in the taskbar. Then choose the Programs option. And in the Programs list, click on Accessories. Then click its submenu Command Prompt. This is the Command Prompt window. Navigate your location to where your C file is saved. And type your C file name, not with the extension, value 1, value 2, and so forth. When you are done, press the Enter key, and now look at the output. Here, the first line refers to the file name, and the others are passed arguments. Now you know about command line arguments.